Now, this is the outline of my talk. I am going to talk about big data, how we analyze the data, how we get the information. That information is useful for policy making. And I'll take you to my home, Western Ghats. I'll tell you how I wandered and did the science and understood Western Ghats. Then finally, I will showcase some of the work what I have done for the society. And incidentally, this is the book, my latest publication, 22nd one. Next month, October 13th, is going to be released. And already, as you get the movie trailer, already many people are asking for a copy. Around 120 people have asked for it. I'm hoping that it becomes one of the popular in the science, okay? And I'll tell you why I wrote that at the end. And this is one place where you get all the details about me. That's where when Mr. Yadav wanted to introduce me, I said I'm already there on the web. So all my work, what we have done, and what are the decision support system which we develop, which I am going to give an insight at the end. Okay? Now this is the data I use. You know, we got the satellites way back in 70s. From 70s onwards, every 21 or 30 days interval, you get a picture of the Earth. If you know how to analyze the picture of the Earth, then you have done your job. You know what changes are happening in the system. You know, you all analyze your own photograph, you take selfie, your photograph of 5 years back and today, you will know what changes are happening. Similarly, the photograph, if I have taken from the whole perspective, you know, to analyze that. If I take photograph from the top, only your head will be visible. From the head, I will make out who you are. That's what we have done. Not you, the trees, okay, the vegetation, etc. And essentially, if you look at that data, finally, we have digital number, the spectral signature associated with each of these, the Earth features. You know, since Earth is a heterogeneous, it reflects differently for each of the object. You can distinguish various objects, various Earth features. That's what we have done. And this is the kind of the data we get, various resolutions, spatial, spectral, radiometric, etc., then temporal also. And along with that, you know, we also use collateral data. You know, we take drone and take a picture and we go to the field, collect the data. And with all those things, you know, to analyze one district, earlier it used to take about 6 to 8 months for me. But today, with artificial intelligence and machine learning, my students do the entire Western Ghats in 6 months. Not just one time or 4 decades, 5 decades. If I demand more, I get that also. It doesn't mean that your true intelligence is lacking. You know, we have trained the computer so that you can do better job. You know, slaves always do better job than masters. Now, these are the kinds of things, when you look at the algorithms, we have the supervised and unsupervised, but invariably we use supervised algorithm. We use the maximum likelihood classifier and the random forest, and depending on the kind of the application, okay? Now, we also predict what is going to happen from 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if the current practice of the Earth features continue. You know, Earth land use continues. What is the likely scenario we also predict? There are cellular automata based or agent based models are there. We have been doing that, okay? And those who follow my publication, we have done about 100 plus publication on modeling and big data, etc. over the last 1.5 decades. And what is the agenda? See, my agenda is sustainable future. You know, if I can ensure clean air, water and environment to the next generation, I have done my science. And that's where I am working for. And when we do that, or what, if we want to have clean air, water and environment, what kind of the environment we need to have? We need to maintain the ecosystem integrity. To maintain the ecosystem integrity, one has to take the responsible decision. You know, responsible decision making becomes a crucial. You know, everyone can read and write. They are literate. And there are literate who read newspaper in Bangalore. Those who follow the newspaper know who I am and what I am. And when I talk about environmental literacy in Bangalore, you will be surprised to know my survey shows only 3.5% of Bangaloreans are environmentally literate. You know, the root cause of Bangalore, the environmental degradation, is this poor environmental literacy. That's what we are trying to see whether we can make it up, we can sensitize the youth, and we have been carrying out various orientation program and environment education program was probably in the entire globe. My group is the only group which has conducted around 1,000 plus programs in various schools and colleges, and we have given the lectures more than 3,000 or 4,000. And this is my home, Western Ghats. My home starts from Kerala, goes up to the Gujarat, and it's about. And if you look at my home, I have occupied only 5% of the India's geographical area. And every Tom, Dick and Harry sitting in Delhi looks at my home because my home is so rich in natural resources. They want to do something there so that they get the resources for themselves. It is not that they are planning for the country. The current system is how much I feed for, how much I mismanage, and so that I can optimize my gain. That is where science can do a wonders. We can bring down that filterages. And I will tell you why we need to conserve this. If you look at our earth, we have only one earth. Do we have more than one? I'm asking youngsters, it is going to be interactive. Smile is good, but if you can also answer, that would be wonderful. And one earth, look at the number of varieties of plants and animals that we have on the earth. The scriptures talks about 8 to 12 million species on the earth. That's where you should look at the historical books and scripture. Don't just look at, don't search for the information through the Google Mama and try to write something, some essay. Please go through the scriptures. And science, we have predicted about 1.5 million species. And out of that, 20% we know the biochemical composition and the medicinal properties of that. Still, out of 1.5 million, lot more to be done. That's where we need more and more youngsters to the science. When science schools and colleges invites me, even if there is a meeting in Delhi, I cancel that meeting and I go to the school and college to interact with the youngsters, because we from IISC want more and more youngsters to get into the science. Okay? Now, see, why do you need this biodiversity? Varieties of plants and animals. If you have varieties of plants and animals, to put it in simpler words, you have varieties of food, and because of variety of food, what you take, you have the immunity, the variety of medicine. That means the biodiversity gives you the food, and the biodiversity also gives you the medicine. So that's where we need to conserve that. Now, I'll give an example. The district where I work, where Dr. Bhatt also comes from, see, in one of the taluk, I found 54 varieties of rice. And in one village in the Kumta, we found 16 varieties of brinjal. See, I found the variety, good for fragrance, resistance to the pest. We have such a resource. As a youngsters or as a researcher from this country, we should have looked at that, how to optimize that resources, how to do the hybridization, instead of inviting the genetically engineered crop to our country. We are doing a disaster by that genetically engineered. We do not even know what is the implication of that. When I sit in the committee also, I always argue that. So, now, let us see which part of the globe we have highest diversity of plants and animals. Latitudinally, you are all engineers. You know what is latitude, longitude, the X and Y coordinate. Latitudinally, you see that at 8 to 14 degree latitude, we have the highest number of plants and animals. This highest number of plants and animals is at 8 to 14 degree latitude. It corresponds to Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Goa part of the Western Ghats. And some of us come from there, our Vinay is there from Kerala. So that way we all come from that region. That means we have inherited such a good resources, but we are mismanaging it. Now we understood which part of the globe we have the highest number of plants and animals. Now how to conserve it? Can science do it? So we need to maintain the ecosystem integrity, as I said earlier. We need to maintain the physical and chemical integrity. Physical integrity means diverting the river just for the sake of the thing will not solve the problem. Similarly, polluting the river in the name of development is also not the thing. So when we do that, when we alter the integrity, we will naturally lose the biological, the resources in that region. Now, we have used this big data, what I said earlier, remote sensing data. Through the machine learning, we have classified the thing. Now, what is the advantage of this? When you see this, you can see what changes are happening. So now this gives an idea that green is decreasing, green is forest, and green is not only decreasing, it is also getting fragmented. That is much more serious. You know, fragmentation of forest is a serious problem in our country. You know, when we talk about some other projects, we do not think about whether it will fragment the ecosystem. You know, fragmentation is going to augment the human-animal conflict. You know, if we have Make-A-Datu project, we are going to do the disaster in the Bangalore because carbon sink is lost and we are losing 5,000 hectares of forests. So now we understood forests are decreasing. Still people want to degrade further the Western Ghats. Now the entire Western Ghats, evergreen forest is less than 10%. For the last 1 decade, I have lost 5% of the forest cover, evergreen forest. And today, we have only 80% of area under the forest. As the government of India norms, or the global norm is to have a 33% the forest cover. None of the, nowhere in India, we have 33% green cover. You know, we are also not questioning the government. Okay. Then, let us look at the service provided by the forest. You know, there was a presentation on algae and all the things. The carbon sequestration, the youngsters were talking. Look at the kind of carbon sequestration these forests do. You can quantify through the above ground biomass, below ground biomass, soil carbon. You know, when I assign the economic terms, you know, it makes all the difference. You know, for example, if you look at the Western Ghats, as on today, stores about 1.23 million gigagram. And every year, you know, incremental carbon, that means every year that the process of photosynthesis happens, it sequesters 37,000 gigagram. You know, it amounts to about 100 billion rupees or $1.4 billion. Now you might ask, what is the use of this number? See, when I represent country and go for the international meeting, what I am going to put forward is, you know, you all industrialized, you emitted carbon. That carbon is taken by forests in my country. You need to pay for this. And how much you have to pay? The amount what we have accounted. See, that gives an idea how the conservation can be done, how the resource, the people talk about there is no money in the country. If all of us put our brain properly, there is enough money in the country. Okay. So now, if this continues, you know, we have done the modeling, the geovisualization, it shows there is a further degradation. Now look at the implication of this degradation. You know, 2018 when I wrote an article, I had predicted there is going to be floods in Kerala and Karnataka, but I never realized that it would happen very next year. You know, when 2018 when I published, people just, of course, media reported my article, but in general the policy makers didn't understand what I have written. But when the flooding happened, immediately there were phone calls to my office asking why the flood happened, what we should do. That 1 month there were phones were ringing in my office, but after that again they have gone back to the same. Now, what is the implication of the losing the forest in the region? If you look at, temperature is increasing, the Kerala will become warmer, and when the temperature increases, the vector-borne diseases will increase. There is a linkage. Okay. Then the second thing is the spatial pattern of rainfall will change. The Kerala, which is receiving higher rainfall for the longer period, will start receiving the lower rainfall. And the third thing is number of rainy days. You know, the rain is spread across 4 months in Karnataka and 6 to 8 months in the Kerala. Now, instead of coming 6 to 8 months or 4 months in Karnataka, it will come in a few days. You know, the same quantum of rain. That means you have high intensity rainfall. You know, when there's a high intensity rainfall, you know, naturally the flooding will happen. Because you have removed the forest cover, the percolation of water was not happening. All the water rushes to the ocean. When it rushes, naturally the landslide will happen, mudslide happen. You know, why not we saw the disaster? We had told that this is going to happen. We identify the ecologically sensitive region. Now today, in the name of development, people change the why not topography. How much money they spend, how much they got the benefit. Let us look at that. And what is the cost of this devastation? When you do the comparative assessment, you will see respecting Mother Nature is always beneficial to the country than abusing the Mother Nature. So now, let me take you to the second part, because my talk also covers the nexus between the environment and water and energy. Now, you see this photograph. This is when I was a student. I was visiting the place. There was enough water. But the same region, today when I visit, I don't have water. The same period, post-monsoon. Now, what is the reason? Let us try to understand this. I'll take you to this river basin, Sharavati River Basin. You see that Sharavati River Basin, we constructed a dam. Here energy nexus will come. We constructed a dam. I have no problem with construction of the dam. So Samurti is here. So hydroelectric dam. But how we constructed, how we implemented, I have a problem. 179 villages were there. None of the decision maker thought about how to rehabilitate these villages. They were forcefully evicted from these villages. They were dumped in a dryer belt, Bhadravati, etc. You know what the farmers did? Because they were practicing the wet cultivation and they couldn't do the dry cultivation. They waited for the reservoir work to be completed. They just came back. They occupied the forest in this region, converted forest into the agriculture land. They started practicing agriculture. Today, that region has become either agriculture land or a degraded land. And the other side, you see the dense forest. Wherever forests are there, you see the stream network is very good. Wherever forests are removed, you see the stream network is very sparse. Now let us look at how it has affected rainfall. You see, today you have 124 years of rainfall data. Daily data is available in our country, which is publicly available. You download the data, divide into two time periods, 1901 to 1964 and 1965 to today. Why 1964-65? Because that is the year we commissioned the dam. See, when you do the analysis, during 1901 to 1964, this entire region was receiving the rainfall of 3,000 to 4,500. Now, after 1965 to today, when you look at this portion continues to receive 3,000 to 4,500, while this portion started getting rainfall of the 1,700 to 1,900 millimeters. See the 50% reduction in the rainfall has happened. You know what happened? On the hillock, the trees were there. Because of the cloud formation, condensation, and that these trees used to stop the cloud and the rain used to happen. Now the cloud is going elsewhere. Okay? Now you understood the linkage with the rainfall. Now we also did the hydrological investigation to see how long the water is available in the catchment. These are the various catchment. The catchment dominated by native species forest, catchment dominated by the urban area, catchment dominated by the monoculture plantation, like that. About 32 the catchment, representative catchment we selected. We monitored for 3 years because we wanted seasonal variability as well as year-to-year variation. And what we did is we deployed the sensors. We monitored how much water gets infiltrated when it rains in these catchments. Our study shows when the native species forests are there, because of the diversity of species, the roots are diverse, the microorganisms are diverse and abundant. When microorganisms are diverse and abundant, the soil activity is very high. And soil becomes porous or permeable. When soil becomes porous or permeable, the water percolates, it fills the zone, the groundwater zone, then it fills the vado zone. After saturation of this only, the water flows in the river or stream. Now, you see the post-monsoon, what happened in Karnataka, we receive rainfall for 4 months. After 4 months, the water that is stored here starts moving laterally to the water body. That's how you have 4 months water. During summer, the water that is stored here comes as a base flow. That's how you have 12 months water. Now, if it is a monoculture plantation, only insufficient, this one happens, infiltration. Wherever the native species forests are there, about 60 to 65% of rainfall get infiltrated. Whereas monoculture plantation, it is about 35 to 45% get infiltrated. Okay? If the forest cover is less than 30%, only about 28% get infiltrated. Now, the 4 to 6 months rainfall, you have only one season water availability. In most of the streams, when you change the forest from native species to the monoculture plantation. Now to summarize this one, you see, we graded the streams as A, B, C, D. A are the 12 months water, B are the 8 months, C are the 6 months, D are the 4 months. Now when you look at the catchment dominated by native species forest will have 12 months water. When it is converted into monoculture plantation like coffee, rubber, acacia, eucalyptus, etc., it becomes 6 to 8 months. When we degrade the catchment with a forest cover less than 30%, you have water only during the monsoon. Now, when you look at this region, we have 12 months water. Here 8 months, here is 6 months, this is 4 months. Just overlay the land cover. You see, wherever native species forests are there which are contiguous, you have 12 months water. Wherever forests are degraded, depending on the scale of fragmentation, with the intrusion of monoculture plantation, you have 8 to 6 months of water. Wherever we have degraded a forest less than the forest cover less than 30%, you have only 4 months of water. Now, how it affects the livelihood of the people, if you want to understand, farmers in this region, because 12 months water is available, they can grow the multiple crop or a cash crop. And they earn 1,54,000 rupees per acre per year. While in this region, since the water is available for 4 to 6 months, they can grow only one crop. Their earning is 32,000 rupees per acre. Then another interesting thing, see, as ecologists, when we do the investigation, all this will come out. You know, pollinators. The pollinators in these regions are diverse and abundant. Because of that, pollination become efficient. When pollination become efficient, yield of the crop is high. For example, the paddy, the yield is about the 14 to the 18 quintal per acre in this region, while it is 6 to 8 quintal per acre. Now the Prime Minister keeps talking about doubling the income of the farmer. Just one prescription. Just maintain the ecosystem integrity. Farmers will get water. Farmers will get the yield. There is no need to give 10,000 rupees every year. Okay. We also quantified how much water get infiltrated, and also what is the demand. You see, wherever forests are there, demand for water is higher, but there is sufficient water. Whereas forest is degraded in the name of development, we have lost the water. See, development at the cost of water is going to be dangerous for the country as well as for the globe. Now, let us try to understand the linkages with the biodiversity. We did a mapping of the various taxa, like sloth, bear, tiger, etc. All these animals are there where water is there 12 months. Where water is not there, you know, in this region, only two-legged animals are there. Now you know the niche on the habitat of the two-legged versus the four-legged animal. Now, we also described 2 new species of fish. You know, when we come across the new species, if it is not reported earlier, we give the name. So we gave the name, and the importance of this is they have the medicinal property that is used for curing the bronchitis or asthma. You know, as a scientist, I also thought that I can become a Birla or a Tata. I brought those specimens to Bangalore, I cultured it in my lab. Like Bangalore and those fish species didn't have any medicinal properties. So that means, if you want medicinal property from this fish, you need to grow them in their habitat. And for them to grow in the habitat, there has to be 12 months water. For the water to be there in the 12 months for that water body, surrounding catchment should have the native species forest. You know, that's the linkage. Now, you look at another example, frogs. We call frogs as amphibian. Why? Because there are 2 stages in the life cycle. First stage, juvenile stage, the tadpole stage, is in the water. While the next stage is the adult stage, is on the land. Now, if there is no water, what will happen to tadpole? Tadpole will not survive. In such a case, frog will not be there. When we were doing the field work, we come across the species of frog which was reproducing. We were surprised how dry condition is happening without then we come across the species, the Philatus leucorrhina. You know, that fellow just bypassed the tadpole stage. After fertilization of the egg, we saw in the field on 14th day younger ones were coming out. We got that fertilized egg to the Bangalore, and in my lab when we did the monitoring, you know, on 14th day, we saw the younger ones coming out of this one in my lab. Of course, we left it in a mini forest in front of our department, okay? And this we published in the Current Science sometime back, okay? So, see, understanding the importance of these linkages, our elders, the protected or conserved the patch of forest, they called it as the Devarakadu or sacred forest or cans or cows or rice, etc. They knew that if they want water in their well, they have to have the forest in their neighborhood. So, but unfortunately, the current generation is converting the forest into the idle land. Because idle brain, what will think? Only idols only. So that is what is happening, and degradation is happening. To summarize what I said so far, when Mother Earth is covered with a saree of native species, she retains the water for 12 months. When you convert that saree into synthetic saree of rubber, acacia, eucalyptus, she will give the water only for 4 to 6 months or 8 months. When we degrade the catchment, we'll have water only for 4 months, and we'll be fighting for the water. Okay? Now, let us understand sustainability. You know, sometimes when you interact with the people without any egos, you know, when you are from IISC, when you go to the field, you think that you are from another island. You should shut all those things. When you go there, talk to the local. See, I learned the concept of sustainability from this elderly lady who collects the bivalves, a bucket full of bivalves every day. I was curious. I asked her, why only one bucket you collect? Why you do not want the second one? She told me that when I sell this one bucket of bivalve, this is a marine organism with a shell, I get 350 rupees per day, which is sufficient for me to run my family. I don't need more than that. That is the sustainability. What you want, you extract it. Don't try to amass the wealth and destroy the earth. That's the message I learned from her. And that's where when we do the development, if we do not hurt the livelihood of the local people, that development is a sustainable development. Whatever the impact assessment I have done, I have taken these things. I have taken the measure to ensure that local people are not affected. Okay? So, and if you want this to happen, I thought that if I identify ecologically very significant region, sensitive region, and give that app to everyone, then probably the decision making become more effective in my country. You know, how did I do? We divided entire Western Ghats into 5 minutes by 5 minutes grid. We pulled all the data, bio, geo, climatic, social, ecological variables, etc. You know, all these variables we collected, we prioritized the grids based on the occurrence of those. For example, say if you look at, here it gives the land cover. Wherever forest is high, we give the weight of 10. Like that for each variable, you know, wherever intact forest is there, we have given 10. Then wherever the biodiversity, you know, the flora and fauna, this is where we have done the field work. You know, if I am healthy today, it's because of the field work. Had I spent my time in air-conditioned room, probably I would have had bills at every 1 hour time. So at least that is what, when you interact with the nature, that happens. Okay. Now we integrated all those things. This gives the carbon sequestration. To summarize what I said, you see from Kerala to Gujarat, tree endemism is higher in Kerala and Karnataka. And fauna endemism is those species occurs only in that location. You don't get anywhere else. So the fauna endemism is higher in Kerala and then Karnataka, and then it comes down in the other places. Okay. So that means some of us have inherited such a rich resources. The responsibility is on our shoulder to give that resources in a better way to our children. Okay. So that's what we did. We prioritized the region. We graded into 4 levels, A, B, C, D. Or ecologically sensitive region 1, 2, 3, 4. And we also did that analysis at village level. Then we developed the decision support system. You know, this is the development. You can access this at my website. You know, I learned this in Shivamogga. When I was invited to deliver a K.V. Subbanna memorial lecture, in a remote village, I launched it just to test whether our experiment reaches the destination. Believe it or not, within a month, there was a question in the parliament about this app and about this analysis. And within a month, a team of the experts from Ministry of Environment and Forest, they land in my lab asking for the details about this. That means the science has reached the destination of policy making. You know, that's what has to happen. When you do a good science, you will be taking that to the thing. That is where the organization like academies and all will help. We need to identify the talent, we need to make them to shine in the system, not the whatever that one section of society who just go behind this one and amass all the resources what is there in the system. Okay. Now, if you want to visualize at the end, if I get the time, I will show you this app, how this can be visualized at the state, at the village level, etc. Okay, you can visualize that. Okay. Now you understood how we reach the destination of policy making through our science. Okay. Then we thought that it should be, the details should be available in all vernacular languages. We converted that, and also we put it in the video form, so that people who can't read, they can also listen to the videos. So that is what we did. Then these are the videos. Then somebody told me, sir, most of the people are mobile. You are not meeting their requirement. Then what we did is we developed the app. It's called Psyhadri. We put it in the Google Play Store. If you use this QR code and you can download that app, sitting at your place, you should be able to access which part of the Western Ghat is ecologically sensitive or not. Okay? This is the QR code. Those of you who are interested can do that. So you can access that, so that, and take the thing. If your parents are politically important people, you educate them so that they can take the message forward. So you are not scanning me, no? Okay. But if you scan me also, there is nothing wrong. I will also go as an ambassador. Okay. So now, let me come to the other part. How I have taken science to the society. Whether my science has benefited the society. And when you do the science, when you see the smile of the community, you feel satisfied. That is more than what Nobel Prize gives you. Okay? So I will share some of the things. Wastewater treatment, rainwater harvesting, creating the water body, having a mini forest, and sensitizing the youth. We have invested a lot of our time on sensitizing the youth. Don't think that I don't do the research also. If you look at my publication, we are one among the top 2%. So that means we have done the work, and we also spend time with the people. But only the thing is, I don't celebrate Saturdays and then holiday. Hardly I will see my student knows how I work. Even at 9 o'clock in the night, we used to work, and that's how she used to work, and she has become successful faculty today. Okay. Now, how did I achieve some of the things? Now, for example, the Chakkur Lake, take the Chakkur Lake, 2005. Chakkur Lake and surrounding, there are wells, all of them had nitrate. Nitrate is a carcinogen. We felt that we have to do something. We pushed the government to rejuvenate the lake. Then you cry, the government also is intelligent. They constitute a committee, they made me a member of the committee. And they gave me money which is not sufficient to implement my ideas. Wastewater treatment, some of you are talking about. Today you introduced the new term microplastic. At that time I didn't worry about microplastic. The primary, secondary, tertiary treatment. Nutrient is removed. Nitrate is my problem in that region. If I have to remove that, I have to have tertiary treatment plant. Then what I did is, because there was a good chairman of the committee, Yellappa I convinced Yellappa this technology will work, phytoremediation and algal farm. That is the work. Ahalia's first article is on phytoremediation. She was a young girl, she joined my lab and she worked on this aspect, and that is the time, just then she got her degree and moved out of my lab. I took it to the ground level. We implemented this nature-based solution of integrating constructive wetland and algal pond. And we monitor for 12 years. There are today surrounding this lake, in 2005, 25 wells were there. Today about 300 wells are there. When we monitor the 300 wells and the lake, none of them have nitrate. I have a satisfaction of giving clean water at least to those 300 well users. Whatever the report we gave is available online. Okay? So this is available online. Those of you who are interested can just download that and you can go through it, you can criticize it, you can appreciate it. We have no problem. Criticism, I always take it because that gives me a fodder for my next research. Okay? Now, let's look at Bangalore. You all face the water crisis. You felt that as if Bangalore is going. I just looked at how much rain we get. We get rain of 700 to 850 millimeters. If I catch that rainwater, I have 15 TMC. How much Bangaloreans requires? 18 TMC. That means 70% of the water required for Bangalorean is available in the form of rainwater. And the best way to catch rain, there are two options. One is individual level, rooftop harvesting. You will have additional 4 to 5 months of water in your home. Next best option is to rejuvenate lake and retain the rainwater. See, we have done the study of all the lakes in Bangalore, probably the entire globe. Ours is the only group which studied all the lakes in their locality. and lakes are interconnected. We said that we need to rejuvenate the lake so that retain the rainwater and groundwater recharge happen. The moment I said groundwater recharge happens, somebody asked me, sent me a mail saying that what is the proof? I was in Saraki Lake rejuvenation. Just then we had completed Saraki Lake rejuvenation. Within a year of rejuvenation, the groundwater table went up by 300 feet, which shows there is a link between the surface water body and groundwater. Then last year, this year when there was a water crisis in Bangalore and temperature increase in Bangalore, Saraki Lake had water in the water body and groundwater table is less than 500 feet, and because of the high moisture content, the temperature in that region was 2 degrees lower than the other region. See what is happening in the other part of the Bangalore, we have shown it how it can be mitigated. Okay, now you understood how to get 15 TMC of water. Now another thing is the wastewater treatment. The wastewater what we generate, 18 TMC, because 18 TMC we consume. If I use Chetkur model, I have 16 TMC of treated water. So that is where, 15 TMC because of rainwater harvesting and 16 TMC because of the wastewater treatment, I have 31 TMC. That is the sustainable solution and that's a long-term solution. That is where I said we need to have 5 R's. First R is a responsible citizen. Responsible citizen means they are environmentally literate. Otherwise, some people write to me asking or accusing me, why do you want us to drink sewage, treated sewage? I always tell them simple word. When I travel from Mysore to Bangalore, I see the Kaveri carrying the sewage of Mysoreans. You are all drinking the sewage of Mysore. Instead of that, drink your own sewage, treat it and have it. That is better. That's how you have to communicate. So that dull-headed fellows will understand what is to be done. So now the 5R formula is the responsible citizen. Then next is, when they are responsible, they will allow the rejuvenation lake so that I can retain the rainwater. Then they will allow the reuse and recycle. So that means I have achieved the thing. In fact, this 5R formula became quite popular when there was a water crisis in the thing. Somebody prepared I think 1 minute video. I saw about 7.9 lakh people have viewed it. But he didn't give acknowledgement to me. That's okay. But message we took it forward. Okay. So then there is also another image, he used it in that video. How Bangalore is the thing. I call it as an irresponsible, unplanned urbanization. 70s we had 68% green cover, 8% is red, which are paved surfaces. Blue is water body, yellow is open space. 73, garden city. Some of you are not born at the time. We had that kind of city. 92, to provide employment to your parents. We created industries in Pune and Kormangla. That's why land cover change happened. In 2000, ITBT sector picked up, Murthy's and Wipros landed in Bangalore, and that's why changes happened in the outskirts. Then 2006 intensification started, 2009 further intensification. And 2021 you see 81% landscape is covered with the concrete, and 22 it's 85%. There has been 1078% increase in concrete area. We lost 88% vegetation, 79% of the water bodies in the region. That's where I told government, enough is enough. Decongest the city. Give us clean air to our children. Because during that time when I went around, people were using oxygen cylinder, not during COVID period. This is the other period. The city is starving for oxygen, and many Bangaloreans do not even know that they require oxygen for breathing. That's also another unfortunate part. Okay, then we also tried to do the oxygen budget in the city. That is the tree budget. Using remote sensing data, you can do the wonders. This is my campus, IISC campus. I have about 22,000 trees. We mapped the entire campus using GPS. I linked with the remote sensing data. Similar exercise, we did it in a couple of wards. With that training data, we analyzed the remote sensing data for entire Bangalore, and we know how many trees are there in Bangalore. Okay, in IISC campus, 22,000 trees, 5,000 people at that time, 1:4. For every person, 4 trees are there. And Bangalore, we overlaid the ward boundaries. We know that how many trees are there in the ward and how many people are there. Our study shows that 1.5 million trees are there in Bangalore for a population of 9.5 million. That means for every 7 person, 1 tree is there. That means how many trees you require. I have said here, 7 person, 1 tree, 1 person, 7 trees are required. How did I get this idea? when I look at the Bible, it talks about the nature conservation at least 320 times. And Quran talks about warns us of the imminent war if you pollute the water bodies. That's why when you go to dargahs, you have to wash your feet and finger with a clean water before you enter the dargah. They thought that when you practice that in dargah, you will do it at home also, neighborhood. Look at our scriptures. Matsya Purana talks about the linkage between the water, child, and the tree. If you have a well at home, you are wealthy. 10 wells are equal to 1 lake, 10 lakes are equal to 1 sarovar, 10 sarovar is equal to 1 child, 10 children are equal to 1 tree. The benefit of having 10 children, you can get the same benefit by planting and nurturing a sapling. I'll put it other way. When you cut a tree, you will also murder 10 children. That's how I write my article. Now take the thread from the historical record, scripture, and I write the thing. Once a forest officer landed in my office with the tears in his eyes. I said, sir, what happened? Why you have come to me with the tears in your eyes? He said, you are responsible. I felt, okay, I have done something that is good. If a bureaucrats are crying, that is a good thing. Then I didn't want to express that. So then he said, he pulled out the article, what I had written. He said that you have written that if we cut the trees, we are murdering 10 children. Now I have to cut 179 trees. If Jaimal Road widening is there, then tomorrow if I cut the trees, you will write an article saying that I have murdered 1,790 children. If I don't cut the tree, I will lose the job. Now you have to solve my problem. Then I told my students, see, wonderful thing is happening in our life. We have conveyed the message to the bureaucrat. Then I said what he should do. I said take a vacant land, you do the replanting and also do the planting of native species in the region. When we started doing, the Bangaloreans started appreciating. That's how we support them also. So now you understood how they listen and how many trees per person is required. You all breathe. Is there anyone in my room who is not breathing? I want the response to the answer. Yeah, sure. No? How much you give out when you breathe? What do you give out and how much you give out? Carbon dioxide. How much you give out? See, you give out 540 to 980 grams per person. The people in the front row and myself is 540 grams per person per day. While you youngsters, 980 grams per person per day. You can have bioreactor algae near there. So that you have to and put it in your result. Okay? So now, 1 hectare of tree takes away the carbon to an extent of 6 to 9 tons. So that by that ratio, for every person there should have been 7 or 8 trees. Okay? And this, we developed the Bangalore Urban Information System when the Bangalore was really under the threat. I also put my article here saying that what is the solution for the Bangalore? And of course the media took it very forward and they went on writing articles about this and all these things. Okay? And then, I always implement science through the nature-based principle. You look at this simple food chain. Herbivore eat the plant which is eaten by the carnivore. The material and the energy transfer happen and whatever is left in the system get converted into elemental form by bacteria and fungi. That is what bioremediation you talk about. That's what Ali also talked about in her thesis, bioremediation. When you look at this nature, there is nothing called waste. Where do you see waste? You will see waste where waste people are there. People who have affinity to the synthetic material, who are creating a mess in the system, the one creating them. Now, I said there is no waste in the system. Then why my lakes in Bangalore are getting polluted? When I go to the lake, I have to inhale that pollutant and go collect the water sample in that. But we have tasted Bangalorean sewage because we have gone to all the lakes in Bangalore, 193 lakes we have visited. So I don't know, my students jovially say, some Bangaloreans are very salty and some are very sweet. Maybe that depending on their this one, okay? Now, when you look at the Bangalore, see the lake when it is clean, it looks like this. When it's polluted, it is a profuse growth of macrophytes happen. Don't tell me, sir, carbon sequestration is happening, you should be happy. When the water enters here, by the time when it reaches here, the treatment happens. That's evident from the dissolved oxygen level. Increased dissolved level, oxygen level at the outlet show that the lake is doing the job of remediation. When we pollute the lake, the profuse growth happens, there are no algae or fish. When the water is polluted, there is no algae because of that fish is not there. The worth of the lake come down from 10,500 rupees per hectare per day to the 20 rupee per hectare per day. And our lake started giving the froth and the fire. You know, when the frothing is happening, I saw all youngsters of 21st century coming there to take the selfie. Instead of thinking about what solution has to be. I'm not criticizing the youngsters. I'm making it on the lighter side so that you remember these things, okay? How we look at youngsters' behavior. You know, I said that what is to be done? I even wrote an article that what is the problem of their froth and what happens, and one of my students went a detailed study. We said that phosphorus is the thing. We didn't stop there. We took that report to the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizer. And today in our country we have the standards for the phosphate-based detergent. You cannot pollute this one with too much use of phosphate in the thing. That's how science also gets in the thing. And of course I am a member of one of the committees in that. But what did the Babus in Bangalore did for the solving the froth problem in Bangalore? They just constructed one barricade. In fact, they thought that they solved the problem of the froth. I criticized that. I said it is an ad hoc thing. BDA chief called me and said, you are a critic. We have accepted. So, but we have solved the problem. There are no froth on the road. I said, you wait for 4 days and see what happens. I said, as I predicted, the froth crossed over on the 4th day to say that who is stupid. Okay, but he told me something. Sir, we have invested 2 crores. Then I realized that investment of 2 crore, what happens with the thing, why they want the projects of that kind. Okay, see, wherever mega projects are there, there's a large scale pilferage of money happens. Even if it happens in institutions, you just check the credentials of the people behind this mega project, you'll come to know about it. Okay, now how it affects the common man, let us try to understand. You know, surrounding the lake, the people cultivate the vegetables, etc. And fish in the lake also comes to Bangalore market, and milk also comes. So we just analyze this fish and vegetable, etc. We found heavy metal in all these things. Whether you are vegetarian or non-vegetarian, you are also taking the heavy metal in your food. You might ask, so what? I don't have to eat chawanprash. I agree. But chawanprash you will take only a fraction. But here you are taking larger than this one. You know, that's why the kidney failure and cancer is increasing in the city. Bangalore is #1 as far as cancer is concerned. Kidney failure, which was 1 in 1 lakh about 12 years back, today is 1 in the 5,000. That's where we have dialysis unit in almost all the wards in the city. You know, there is a study following my work. You know, Niman's doctor took it forward, and they said even behavior of the people is changing. That's again because of the unplanned urbanization and also the heat island phenomena. You know, whatever the science we did, we also brought other the faculties with us and tried to understand the whole mechanism. Okay, then I said that lake has to be rejuvenated. You know, then we did a study in the lake to find out how to rejuvenate the lake. You need to decontaminate the lake and you need to arrest the contaminant coming to the lake. Now, to decontaminate the lake, the contaminants which are there in the lake has to be removed. I found that there are silt. We did a bathymetry study to see how much silt is there in the lake. You know, my study shows 11 million cubic meter of the silt is there. The moment I released that report, there are some Bangaloreans, you know, there are a lot of very enterprising Bangaloreans are there. They wrote an article saying TVR is going to create the traffic chaos in the city by shifting the 11 million cubic meter of the thing. Because I was in the engineering committee and I'm in the committee still, okay? So then what I did is, see, that's where I said, always criticism helps me. When they criticize, what I did is I immediately called for a meeting with the local farmers. I talked to them. I said that I have analyzed Vattu silt doesn't have any heavy metal. You can take it. They said, sir, you are assuring us we will take it. I gave the silt to the 400-acre farmers. You know, after every month I visit the lake, and when I visited on the 4th month, the farmers loaded my vehicle with this kind of the bumper crop. And each farmer tells me, because of my action, each one got 1.5 lakh rupees additional per acre. See, that is how the science benefits the society. You know, that's where I see the smile on the farmers. That's where I see the smile on the youth in the region. And finally, my science will give the clean water to the eastern part of the Bangalore. You know, those 2 lakes are the big lakes for the Bangalore. I'm solving that problem. When I say I, it means my students and we are solving the problem. Okay? Then how we are communicating to the wider section of society? We created another app, the BLISS, Bangalore Lake Information System. You can access this. All the data what we have collected, analyzed, and what is the publication that has come out of the work, we have put it online. My 400 publication is available on the portal, you can have a look at it. So, and you can visualize the water quality, you can visualize what kind of fish is there, what kind of algae is there, zooplankton and macrophyte is there in the lake. We have created sub-modules there. So, and even encroachment. How much encroachment has happened and who has encroached, that also we have put. When I told people I am going to put that encroachment, who has encroached, somebody jovially said that we will not see you tomorrow. I said, don't worry. This message has to reach the destination and you will continue to see me, because people like me will not leave the earth so easily. We will do our job, what we are supposed to do, that's where we have come on the land. Okay. So now, you might ask, you are looked at the people's problem, what about God's problem? We are also giving contaminant to God. Gokarna temple has Koti Tirtha. Some local youth wrote to me saying that, oh, Koti Tirtha, there is a stinking thing, you should come and do this. Myself, my students, we visited, we go to a temple only on invitation, not on other recreation or anything else. So when I visited, we collected sample, we found that is something to do with the ritual. The contamination because of large organic material getting into the water body which is decaying because of the smell is coming. The ritual involves the rice balls and banana and puja material getting into the water body, which I cannot stop. I can stop water for anyone, but I cannot stop this practice in the country. So what I did is I had a meeting with the priest. We had an understanding. I told the priest, I will designate the location. One place I will call it Vaikunta, other one is Kailasa. Vaikunta 25 rupees, Kailasa 50 rupees. What you have to do is, you can do the reception of this puja material, but you need to chant, collect 25 rupees per family if they do Visarjana in Vaikunta, or 50 rupees. On that, we get a revenue of about 20 to 22,000 rupees per month, which we give it to NGO. The NGO has hired 3 youth. Their job is to do the DVD and the rice ball, they collect it and feed it to the cattle in the Goshala. And the lake which was like this before the God met scientists. Okay? After God met scientists, now the water body looks like this. Poor God was having the abhishek of this dirty water before the science get into the system there. See, science has solved the problem. How much money I spent? 15,000 rupees, which is for my travel and chemical for the analysis and the meeting with the people. How much money the government wanted to spend to rejuvenate the lake? 15 lakh rupees. And they were so unhappy. When they saw this kind of a progress, they said that, sir, this won't work. I said, another 3 years I'll monitor and show you the success. After that, maintaining is your job. That's how you have to do it. And since we are working in that district, last 2.5 decades I've been working in Uttara Kannada, Dakshin Kannada, Shivamogga. So for me, it's not a problem to monitor the system. And this gives a glimpse of, when somebody dies, we don't cry. On that day, 12th day, we just get the school children to the planting. So that we did in our Jubilee garden, planting of the ficus species, 5 varieties, 500 sapling we got it planted. And children on the birthday, they come and do the watering and all. I don't even have to maintain the thing. I don't have to ask the laborers to water the thing. Okay? Now come to the energy. How the wrong ideas always makes the home in our policy. Somebody says energy consumed per person should go off if the country has to progress. You keep 100 bulbs of 100 watts, you will all become progress. That is what they say. What utter nonsense is this? Okay, our per capita consumption is low. Just look at the energy consumed per unit of GDP. When you look at that, we are 14 times higher compared to Switzerland, 12 times higher compared to Japan, 10 times higher compared to US. That means we are inefficient that many times. Our priority should be on the conservation and energy auditing, and so this one. That's what we should do. Now I'll quickly run through in another 5 minutes. We looked at the alternatives. Solar energy, we found that what is the solar potential. We mapped the solar potential in the country. I published this article. Based on this solar program came in the country. Then, this is the article, hotspots of solar energy. And we said that which part of the India is solar hotspot. Then we also looked at the wind, okay. Then my student looked at the algae and the macroalgae. You know, microalgae, which is rich in the lipid, he said that it can be converted into the biodiesel. So that's where we are working. What is how to optimize that? That's where sometime Professor Jagdish also talks to me about those things. And macroalgae, which is rich in the carbohydrates. We thought that it can be taken for the but how to do it? See, my solution is always nature-based. Wherever chemicals is there, we will try to have this one. Instead of chemical catalyst, we said we will have biocatalyst. That is the kind of the thing. And we even try to optimize the fermentation, because for ethanol the fermentation is required. Now the last part. To come to IISC, you will see this water body, what we created in 2008. Some of the faculty in IISC comes there. You know, I have this otter in the campus. You know, one side I say Bangalore is dying, but other end I have otter. You know, when otter is there, which is a voracious eater of fish, I don't go and feed the fish to the otter. When we did a mapping of biodiversity, we found that already there are a lot of fish. That means nature knows, if you facilitate, nature knows how to maintain the balance in the system. You know, that's how, when we meet people, we will also convince the people to have the water bodies. You know, Mood Vidre, this saint, met me saying that there is a drought condition, how to solve that? I told him that you rejuvenate the lakes in your region, 32 lakes are there. If you rejuvenate it, you will not face the water crisis. I said. And then he told me, I have 12 acres of land. I said that, okay, I'll tell you how to create a water body, where to create the water body. I gave the proposal on May 2016. Believe it or not, in 15 days I get this photograph, creating the water body. The success is because of the youth. You know, this man is young, and young students from all our science and engineering were involved in that. Even CO is quite young. So then when I saw the youth here, then I convinced the Alva's CEO to create a water body in his campus which stores 25 lakh liters of water. You know, and the greenery. See, he did the planting of native species. And when we visit, I go there as a guest faculty every 6 months, and you see the greenery with abundant resources. You know how to solve the problem. I'll put it on the lighter side. You are all young. You are likely to get into this stage. You know, this gentleman, when he met me, like you all, he was also bachelor. Okay? But after creating this water body, he gets a partner, wonderful partner who take care of the joint family. If you want the happiness at home, you need to do this kind of initiative. You might say that, sir, what is the benefit of creating water body in the campus? You know, I am storing 10 lakh liters of water. How much water I consume on the campus? I stay on the campus, I require about 1.2 lakh. I am giving this back 10 times that. So that's what every citizen, if they do it, then we do not have the resource poverty on the earth. That's what is required. For that, environmental knowledge is required. If you want to see more of the thing of Western Ghat, you come to the campus. You will see this climber. You know, I was fascinated by the climber at your age. I said I should have it in the campus. I brought the seed, you know, which had the pod which had 14 seeds. Out of the 14 seeds, I planted 7 in 7 locations. Other 7 I kept it in my lab. You know, out of 7, only 1 has survived next to the building where I worked for 2 decades. That means even the plants know who will take care. Otherwise, why not other 6 places it didn't survive? There is a linkage, okay? Don't try to say that, no, these are all your assumptions and all. I have experienced the thing. I have talked to the plants. I know how the thing plants, how it gives the satisfaction. Okay? In front of that department, we created a mini forest in 2 hectares area, 49 native species, 500 saplings. We planted when I was a student. Today you come there, you get a feel of the rainforest. More importantly, since I continued as a faculty, groundwater table which was 150 feet at that time. Today I have the water table at 10 feet. Now you know how to solve the problem of water. And you have varieties of the biodiversity in this one, slender lorries, etc., snakes, etc. You know, you get a feel of that region, you know, in front of our building you will get that, okay? So then this gives a glimpse of what we are doing, okay? The environment education, sensitizing the children in rural area. See, my audience is not like this. It runs into 1,000, 1,500. I get more excited when I see large number of youth in the audience, okay? So, you know, the ecosystem has a biotic and abiotic component. Biotic is when it increases, I always get excited. You know, I also offer a course to sensitize the people working in industries, etc. Last 22 years I have done it. You can ask Professor Jagdish whether any other faculty have done it in the campus. Every year I have been doing it since I joined the institute. That means it's possible to bring awareness and they sensitize the people with the environmental knowledge. That's how at all levels I am trying to improve the environmental knowledge so that we will have more and more environmental literate people. My students are even the army people, defense, 60, 65 years people have taken my course. Okay? And I organize a symposium popularly known as Lake Symposium once in 2 years. The uniqueness of this event is that I have given a platform for the school and college students to participate and to present. 20% of my audience are the school and college students. The 14th event is scheduled during the next month, October 17 to 20th. Those of you who are interested can access my web page and can register. Okay? So this is the thing, and it's going to be enormous. You can see whether I have created lake or not, whether there is a green vegetation thing. You can also verify that. The board with that I talked about that saint. I told him 32 lakes you rejuvenate. He said 32 is difficult for me. I said at least 2 you do it. He did 2 lakes desilting of the thing. Because he did 2 lakes the desilting, the local people did the desilting of remaining church. Last year when the entire state faced the water crisis, Green Rod, Moodbithre didn't face the water crisis. That is because of the rejuvenating the lake and retaining the rainwater in the lake. That is where the solution is there. See, my technologies are simple, but if they implement it, it becomes a sustainable option. Okay? Then, see the children, they do simple experiment to come to the lake symposium, and children in rural area, they do the mapping of biodiversity. And those of you who want to contact me, I do not use mobile. I have decided not to use. And these are my portal where my publications are available. Whatever statement I did, it's all with my publications. Okay, you can go to ResearchGate, you can download my articles. There are about 1,300 articles there. You can download that. Okay. Well, and also you get in YouTube, our channel is there, EWRG channel is there, you can access. There are about 500 my talks are available. This is my webpage where all my publications are available. You are most welcome to download and read, but don't copy and paste it for assignment. Because I work in biofuel, what algae you talked about it, all those things, okay? So, see, my agenda is to sow the seeds of knowledge in these youngsters. They are the asset of my nation. That's what we are looking for. Okay, when they do good science, there is a smile on everybody's face. Thank you very much.